I'm currently spending 4 days in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia's capital and biggest city. It's buzzing, a melting pot of nations, cultures and individual stories. A modern megacity, and yet it offers plenty of opportunity to discover Malaysia's heritage and spirit. So in the next minutes I'm bringing you along my multi-day journey through this 8 million metropole.
Good morning from Kuala Lumpur. I got here yesterday. It was a pretty long travel day, even though the flight is only 2 hours, but yeah, it's just getting to the airport, getting away from the airport, getting into town, getting into your hotel or hostel or whatever. Just takes so much time. So I didn't do much yesterday apart from checking out Petaling Street, which is right around my hotel. So of course I had to do that. Had some really good food that was Chinese. I cannot spell it. I don't know what it was, but it was quite tasty. And today I'm going to start the day off right with a free walking tour. One of the Guru Walk tours. I really like these Guru Walk tours. They're cheap, they're run by locals. You can just experience the city in a touristy way, but not as touristy as some other people do it with, like, you know, the hop on, hop off bus tours or whatever. The only thing is I slept in quite a bit, didn't even have coffee, didn't have breakfast. The tour is 3.5 hours and I'm currently on my way to the meeting point, and I just hope there's some little food stall, some little coffee place, I don't know, where I can grab something to fuel up before the tour starts. But we'll see later. It's about 10 minutes to get there, so let's go.
I will try to pass on some of the information that Ian, our tour guide, gave us. He started off with explaining the Malaysian coat of arms to us, which consists of various different parts like 2 tigers, some historic Malaysian weapons, and also contains both Malayan and Arabic language.
The white structure on the right hand side, friends, the black dome head you see, friends, is the High Court House, built by the Brits about circa 1904-05.
We kept on going and passed by the place that is considered to be KL's historical center, where the first initial settlement of KL was set. We ended the tour with a stroll through some of Kuala Lumpur's back streets, checking out some of the food stalls that are dotted around all over the Petaling area. After the tour, I kept on exploring the streets around my hostel at night, taking in some of KL's nightlife and food scene.
So, second day in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia is on. The group from the walking tour and we decided that we're going to go and explore Batu caves the next morning. And this is actually what I'm up to now. It's quite early, there's not too many people on the street, super nice. It's still, I mean, it's not cold, but it's kind of cool-ish. That's super good. And I'm on the way to the pickup point where we're gonna get a Grab to go to Batu caves, famous caves. They have a temple, they have these like colored stairs that I think you all have seen on Instagram photos. So yeah, that's where we are gonna go next. This is quite a skyline. Petronas Towers over there, and I think there is the KLCC, so like the Kuala Lumpur City Centre Business District, whatever. But yeah, that looks quite cool, also in that light. So I'm at Batu Caves now. Even though it's quite early, there's already a lot of people walking around here. So yeah, I think in a couple of hours this place is gonna be absolutely packed, because yeah, there's quite a few people around. Got myself a water that was hugely expensive because we're at a touristy place. Yeah, it's gonna be madly sweaty because even though it's cold, you can already feel how humid it is. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do now. And looking forward to get up these stairs.
Before actually tackling the stairs, we made friends with the local monkeys and quickly checked out the Hindu temple at the bottom. Batu Caves, which can be translated to rock caves, is not only one of the biggest tourist attractions of Kuala Lumpur, it's also one of the most popular Hindu shrines outside of India itself. This becomes obvious by the amount of Hindu people who visit this site every day. When the stairs got painted in 2018, initially there was a dispute going on about this action, but becoming such a touristy spot since then, I assume Malaysian government are not debating over ever changing this again.
Made it.
Batu Caves is one of these places that will give you neck pain eventually, since you constantly roll your head to get a grasp for the size of these caves.
Last set of stairs to get to the top level in the cave, and then we're done, and we have conquered the Batu Cave. And the monkeys are still everywhere.
The sheer size of Batu Caves is pretty impressive, and if you can look over the strong smell of bat guano, you'll have a great time visiting this place.
So now we're going to go into a little art gallery that is in the Batu Caves with lots of Hindu cave art. So interesting to check out, not that expensive, so let's see what it offers.
Entering the cave with the statues and the art being not so natural as we were told it would be, we started chatting over the crazy stories that some of these places are based on.
Telling old local folk stories, and they were just the weirdest stories, like trippiest stories. They were fab.
They were like the king met his wife, and she then became like grass. And it was like, okay. Yeah, and then she laid down, and then she became the river, and that river is now the border between Thailand and you're like, okay. It's like, were you high when you you made up these stories? So that was Batu Caves this morning. Quite a nice sight to see, and now I'm off to Jalan Alor, I think it's called, so it's probably Kuala Lumpur's most famous food market, so I'm gonna do that now. Try to find some food because I'm really hungry, because I only had a tiny breakfast again, so I'll just find myself not eating enough here in Southeast Asia. It's probably because of the heat. Passing by Kuala Lumpur's highest building and the second tallest building in the world. And what's interesting, when you try to cross a road, it's not like in Vietnam, everybody just goes when they feel like it. So you have traffic lights and people somewhat stick to it, but then you have these little islands, like little safe spaces, when you can't make the traffic light or something like that. So you would just hide on this and stay still and hope no car hits you. That's an interesting one. Well, it seems I got to the place, but because I'm eating at the most unusual time for people in Malaysia, it's not really packed. In fact, there's almost no one in the restaurants. Yeah, so that is new. So might just see whether I can find a place that looks somewhat inviting and then get some food there. Oh, that looks like little Tokyo here, with the famous Shibuya Junction, just in a bit smaller. But it looked like the same as in Tokyo when all the people were just crossing this junction before. Guess it is go time. I don't even want to know what the energy bill of this building is, because it's all air-conned, and that is insane. Jesus, I'm like so lost. I have no idea where to go. Just desperately trying to find this food emporium place, where apparently they have like most of the food. I have no idea where to go. I think I'm like on the completely wrong level, but yeah, I didn't even know. And more nice cars. 720S. This is probably where all the traveler viewers are gonna click out of the video, and that's an Fiat Tributo. I just like my cars, so I cannot not stop when I see them. Good stuff around here. Defender as well, all blacked out. That looks super nice. So I'm out of the mall now, and it's just, the older I get, with every year, I'm like lesser drawn towards these places, and it's really just not who I am. So I just walk around, I find the building very impressive, but I don't know, it just doesn't give me anything. And now I'm going through this like rather posh neighborhood, actually try out to find my way into the KLCC Park, which should be right in front of me, and it looks like it's starting here. Just chill out for a bit, like get some shade, and then at some point check out the Petronas Twin Towers. And of course, one of the absolute must-sees, absolutely mandatory when in Kuala Lumpur, the Petronas Twin Towers.
With a height of 451.9 meters, the Petronas Twin Towers, or KLCC Twin Towers, were officially designated as the tallest building in the world from 1998 to 2004, until they were surpassed by the Taipei 101 Tower in Taiwan.
So it is my last day in Malaysia, my last day in Kuala Lumpur, and I'm doing one last little stroll around the city. I had a very slow day. I'm like not feeling okay, so I feel like all the flu and like stomach problems that I got in Vietnam, I just didn't really got to resolve them fully, and it kind of kicks back again. But still, I'm doing one little stroll, and I'm going to, by the way, we're passing second tallest building in the world, which every time you pass it, you're like, ah, it is really tall. The last one little thing that I'm gonna show you guys is the National Mosque of Malaysia, which is one of Kuala Lumpur's, of course, most famous landmarks, but not just for tourists. Because with Malaysia being a Muslim country, of course, the Islamic religion is so deeply engraved into the culture and, you know, the everyday life of Malayan people. So yeah, that's gonna be quite an interesting sight to see. Also, it is super modern. It's been built, I think, in the 1960s. Its building style, its architecture is like super futuristic. So I'm quite keen on checking it out. I saw it from the train earlier on, and it looked quite nice. It has this huge umbrella, kind of like pavilion over it, which also stands for something which I will have to read up when we're there. But yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. So I'm going to do this and then get back into the hostel and pack, because I need to take the flight to Perth tonight. So this is it. This is the National Mosque. I'm kind of not sure whether I'm allowed to go in here. It's just a car park and yeah, a gate that you can go through. But I'll just try it and see whether somebody's sending me back or not. So when I was reading up about the mosque, and then it said that 15,000 people can go in at one at a time, I thought it's surely one of the biggest mosques. I was almost gonna say it's one of the biggest mosques in the world, and I just looked it up and it's on place 57, so apparently there is quite a few much bigger mosques there, with the biggest one being able to hold up to 4 million people. So that is insane. So it's not even the biggest in Malaysia, it's only like the third or fourth biggest in Malaysia. But yeah, it's still an impressive building. It still looks pretty cool. I might have to get some photos in, because I can't do an aerial shot here, which is sad, because it would have looked really nice, because the structure of the roof is actually the most interesting part if you're not like into the religious part, but more in the architecture part. But still a rather impressive building, I would say. So that's it, that was the last stop, the National Mosque of Malaysia, and for me now it's time to pack my things and then catch my flight to Perth, Australia. And this is actually where the real big adventure begins, because everything up to this point was only really holiday, and it was just a bit of an exploration along the way. But from Perth on, my whole big working holiday visa, work in Australia, travel other countries around that will start. So I hope that most of you will join in on the videos that I'll be able to make there, hopefully, if nothing goes wrong, but you never know. So over and out from Malaysia. This looks actually so cool. It's one of the most beautiful things I've seen in a while. I'm pretty sure about that.